Good morning and welcome to this edition of the Lynne Hayes-Freeland Show. We have a lot to do this morning on the show. A little bit later, we're going to talk about domestic violence. This is the time of year that we need to be aware, attuned of the stresses that the holidays bring to our lives and how we handle them. Also, later on in the program, I'm going to introduce you to a waiting child, and we went of all places, one of my favorite places, Oakmont Bakery. But we begin with a discussion about violence and what's happening on our streets and some of the motivations, some of the reasons why. Here to join us once again is Richard Garland, and I'm going to try to read this. Richard is an assistant professor of public health practices at the Graduate School of
Public Health.
Thank you. Welcome back.
Thanks for having me.
So, you know what, as much as I love you, Richard, there's a part of me that feels like I wish you never had to come back because everything...
It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it just seems like it gets up and down, up and down, up and down in terms of what the violence we're seeing in our streets.
Yes. I mean, and we let things go. I mean, as soon as everything seems to calm down, you know, everybody thinks it goes away. But we have to be consistent with this movement. We gotta be. It's always all hands on deck, even when it's slow. Because there's so many different things changing in the community. There's the whole inception of social media, how much that impacts stuff. All this transient population, people moving from the city to the county, county to the city,
which in turn turns out to be territories, and people from one territory coming into another.
Yeah, so but you know, we're not talking about gang stuff. You know, it's more about little cliques and little crews of, you know, individuals getting together. My issue is we haven't treated violence like a disease. So now I'm at the university and I'm understanding the language of a lot of the things that I've done in the past. You know, it was a public health approach, but we just didn't have the language. Okay, all right. The language now makes sense. So now if we treat violence like a disease that it is, you know, we will probably be putting more resources into it. We're not putting no resources into violence. We're putting resources into this heroin opiate crisis, and at the foundation of some of the violence is a heroin opiate, you know, crisis. So all those things are involved, you know, but when we look at who the violence is being perpetuated by and who is really affecting, it's affecting the black and brown community. It's affecting us. I want to go back. You mentioned a couple things I want to pick up on. First, let's talk about social media, because I think that we tend to think of social media as a way of catching up with people that you haven't seen in a long time, finding out what's going on with people. But in fact, social media is being used in a lot of different ways. Yes, yes. I mean, I post every now and then on social media, you know, about the different issues that I see, you know. So, you know, what's happening with our young people, you know, they post, it's 30 seconds of fame. You know, they might be feuding with somebody and talking bad about it, and it causes a whole lot of different things. So you post something, you've got a beef, you and I have a beef. Yeah. I post that on Twitter, somebody else sees it, and it kind of snowballs from there. It snowballs, and next thing you know, a kid who never really was talking, or, you know, even adults like wasn't really in it, all of a sudden gets in it, and then next thing you know, stuff is popping off. I mean, and even when we talk about different drugs, you look at some of these guys on Facebook and Twitter, their pages, they got guns on the pages, you know, they might have drugs, they got this, you know, we got people that looking for their next robbery, but they just staying on Facebook. By the stuff they see on Facebook. By the stuff, because we are posting so much stuff, so much personal stuff. You know, that it's affecting us. It's affecting everything. We got to take a commercial break. When we come back, I want to talk about one community in particular that's been very hard hit by this violence in young people in the last week or so, and I want to talk about that and so much more when the Lynne Hayes-Freeland Show continues. Don't go away.
The Lynne Hayes-Freeland Show is sponsored by Dollar Bank, providing mortgages for mothers with less than perfect credit.
We're America's largest independent mutual bank. Without shareholders, we're able to think differently about the banking options we offer, the way we do business, the support we provide to the communities we serve. Experience the difference mutuality makes for Dollar Bank customers and our region. Dollar Bank, mutually inspired.
Get a free pecan or pumpkin pie with every $20 order from Denny's.com. You can eat it wherever you want, even if you're in someone else's house. Santa. Enter promo code FREEPIE on your next order at Denny's.com.
From our homes to yours, the staff at Greenbrier Treatment Center wish you a very merry and magical Christmas.
Experience the magic of the season at the Winter Festival of Lights. Holiday memories are waiting to be made at Ogilvy in Wheeling, West Virginia, November 10th to January 1st.
We don't just live in this world. We gather it, we hunt it, then we take it apart, and we build it for the better. We're more than a family. We're a way of life. Passed down from one generation to the next. Tell the lost, we will find them. Tell the horses, let's run. Grab your Carhartt and join us. Winter's begun.
We're back here on the Lynne Hayes-Freeland Show. Richard Garland is our guest. So, the other thing I want to pick up on that you mentioned in the last segment, you said that we're putting money into the heroin opioid crisis, but that's not money that funnels into preventing violence.
None.
That's money that stays in that drug.
It stays in the heroin opioid realm. We talk about the Zika violence, the Zika virus. We can talk about all the different diseases that we talk about, and the federal government gives the resources necessary for them to find out how to treat this disease. So we look at violence as a three-step process, you know, so we want to try to interrupt the transmission of the disease. That's where, you know, outreach, you know, or interrupters that we call them come in. Then we really want to treat the disease. This is where the outreach folks come in, working with them. And then we really want to do something within the community and the environment that they live in. Because we got to talk about the environment. What is the environment of where a lot of the violence is happening at? It's in the urban communities. It's in the ghetto. You know, you know, kids and some of the families are struggling. We look at all this redevelopment in this city. You know, Pittsburgh don't look nothing like it used to look 10, 20 years ago.
Right.
You know, and yes, it looks nice, but what about?
But it looks different.
It looks different when we go
especially
to the
our
hood.
communities.
Especially our communities.
Especially our communities, absolutely.
You know, so we got to look at this as a disease.
When you talk about a community, I want to ask about this because certainly in the last week we saw, if I'm not mistaken, 2 students from Woodland Hills that were shot and killed in the last week. That's got to affect the entire Woodland Hills community, the students, the teachers, the community. I mean, we're not just talking about one person being affected. This has ripples.
Right. So we are going to be meeting with the administration this week, the Woodland Hills. And one of the things that I'm going to be pushing is that we need to talk not only to the kids, but we need to talk with the teachers, you know, and the families in these communities. Rankin Braddock, you know, Duquesne. You know, these are communities that when you look around, you know, some of them are not pretty communities. They're not pretty, you know, so when the lights come on in the evening, you know, it's almost like Beirut, you know, because it's so transient. You know, we got people, you know, they trying to live. Folks are trying to live, you know. And, you know, it hurts when a young kid, a baby, a 3-year-old
in the Hill District,
in the Hill District, you know, that, you know, usually infuriates the community for us to really come together in action. You know, I see more apathy in our community
than anywhere else. And I want to get into this before we run out of time because I think there is a numbness because the violence has become so prevalent that people have become numb to it.
So that's the reason why I'm saying it's a disease, and we have to start treating this disease the way it is. You know, we have to look at it really as a disease. You know, never before did I think that I would even look at it like that. But, you know, I'm learning as I, you know, make this journey through the university. So, I mean, that's the way we have to treat violence as a disease. And we need the proper resources to really fight the disease.
So then we have a minute left. If we were going to ask people to do something, is it lobby for more money? I mean, what would you tell folks we need to do?
We need to help. We need to help these disenfranchised communities. We need to make them, you know, feel accepted. You know, right now kids don't feel accepted. People don't even talk to kids. You know, they leave it to us, you know, guys like who's working the streets like us to talk to the kids.
You handle it, yeah.
Yeah, you know.
But some of them will say, I'm afraid. How are you going to be afraid of your kids?
Yes, but that's the way we will let things happen. You know, it's frustrating. You know, and I push a lot of guys that are coming out of the penitentiary. I need them. You know, because these are some of the guys that they want to follow in their footsteps. But if we change their mindset, we change the community.
We change the community. That's a good place to end. But this obviously has to be a continuing conversation.
Yes.
Because a couple months ago, you put me in touch with some of the football coaches and our community that are making a difference, and folks are still talking about that. So we got to keep in touch. We got to keep in touch. All right. We're going to take a commercial break. When we come back, we're going to talk about a different kind of violence. This one happens in the home, and we're going to address domestic violence next when the Lynne Hayes-Freeland Show continues. Don't go away.